calling the meeting to order, and I'm going to ask for a roll call, please.
Okay. So Carrie Callahan,
Here.
Johnny Carrier,
Here.
Ron Llewellyn. And I am not seeing Ron on, Mr. Chair, so we'll continue. Sarah Nadeem.
Here.
Thank you. I'm not seeing Mr. Phillips, and he had indicated he will not be in attendance, so we'll mark him absent as well. And then John Schoenhorn,
Present, yes.
John Brockelman,
Here.
Harry Marsh,
Here.
and Steve Walsh.
Here.
Okay, so we have two vacant regular members, so. And
So
all
I'm
three-
gonna-
for all
So I'm
three
going to
alternates.
appoint, well, I'm going to appoint Harry Marsh for Commissioner Phillips. I'm going to appoint John Brockelman for Commissioner Llewellyn. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. We have one hearing tonight. I'm going to ask the Secretary, Commissioner Callahan, to read the legal notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold an online public hearing on Monday, October 18, 2021 at 7 p.m. on the following application. Robert Seckinger, application for variance to reduce rear yard setback from 20 feet to 16 feet and side yard setback from 20 feet to 3 feet at 119 Copper Mine Road, R40 zone. Interested parties are encouraged to participate in this online public hearing. The link to the meeting may be found on the Town of Farmington's website at www.farmington-ct.org/about-us/calendar-meetings. A copy of this proposal is available online at www.farmington-ct.org, Government Zoning Board of Appeals, or by calling the Planning Department at Farmington Town Hall at 860-675-2325, dated at Farmington, Connecticut, September 30, 2021.
All right, thank you. And the way this meeting is going to be conducted is the applicant will speak first. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the application will then follow, and then we'll hear from anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to it, and the commissioners will be asking questions after each presentation. I will note that the applicant is listed as Robert Scheckinger or Biff Scheckinger at ASLA. I don't see him on, but I do see that the owner.
I saw him on.
Yes.
He's on.
You are okay, very good. So we'll start with the applicant. When you speak, please identify yourself and your address, your relationship to the owner, and then make your presentation. We've all received the application and the survey.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for hearing me tonight. I'm Biff Scheckinger. I'm a licensed landscape architect in Connecticut. I'm representing the Farmington Land Trust, who own not only this property of about just a little under an acre at 119 Copper Mine Road, but also it's surrounded on three sides by almost 24 acres of Farmington Land Trust, which is the West District parcel. The reason we're coming to you is Farmington Land Trust has gotten the Wilcox Bushley House, this historic farmstead, and they're renovating it to become their Farmington Land Trust main offices, as well as to run programs that are related to the environmental preservation, et cetera, that's part of their purview, and incorporate this as part of the whole complex there. But they want to keep the property for legal reasons separate. The reason we're coming to you is because of once this is a special permitted use, and if you look under the special requirement, special regulations in section 4 of the regulations, section 8 under parking, item A under general provisions, and sub item 4, which says basically for any special permitted use that's not residential within a residential zone any parking has to be outside of 20 feet of all the property lines. The reason even though we have some land on the upper part of this drawing on the other side of the property, all of the main entries into the building, the garage entry into the existing barn that's going to be preserved and rebuilt as a post and beam structure, all face to the lower part of the property. So we're forced to basically come in and have our parking there. As of right now, the septic field's on the other side of the house, on the upper part of the property in the drawing here. And so as you can see in the bottom corner, after the row of proposed shade trees, down you can see the 3-foot setback for the parking there, and then the other one on, so we're asking, that's the side yard setback, and then in the rear yard, which is just over there, and that's the request. We needed to have all this parking. It's going to be gravel parking. We're going with low impact development techniques on the property. Well, basically, the grading's very simple and shallow. We're going to sheet flow off, but the only paved parts will be the apron out by the street, and then the parking in front of the building, and it's going to get the most use, and the parking in front of the barn, which is going to get the most use, that'll be paved with bituminous pavement. So unfortunately, we had to come in. It makes more sense to double load it where we can to save on the impact into the site. But that's why we're requesting the 3-foot and the 17-foot setback relief for the parking. As you can see, the lower run of the double loaded parking area that's furthest into the parking into the property there.
Okay. Is there any other part of your presentation, or can I open it up for the commissioner's ask?
That's basically it.
All right, Commissioner Callahan.
Sir, when you referred to the lower part of the property, what you're talking about is to the east, correct?
Yes. Yes. If you pull the plan up a little bit, you'll see where the arrow is. Let's see. There it is. Yeah. Well, basically, yes, to the east or south. In this, it would, yeah, the southeast.
To the south, sort of facing toward Plainville.
Yeah. It's that
Okay.
area that was just highlighted. It ran off on me. There it is. Yeah, there's already an existing driveway there, and it used to be a big loop there. You can even see it, the indentation of where the old pavement used to go down through there. So we're actually going in that same development envelope. The reason, though, as you can see, all the main entries and the garage and the entry into the barn that's going to serve as a storage area for for machinery, as well as for maintenance equipment for the site, as well as some opportunities for environmental programs. So that's why we're not coming in from the north, would be the northwest side of the property, and also the septic field for now is there. So we're looking into possibly tying into the town system, but still, again, all the entries are there. It was where it historically was, and that's why we're proposing the parking where it is. And because of that, and because of the regulation that we can't be within 20 feet with parking that's a special permitted use in a residential zone that isn't residential, we have to ask for relief on the 20-foot property setback.
Okay, and the parcel number in the photograph,
Yes.
parcel number 8154, is that also owned by the land trust?
Yes, it is. That's the 23 plus
That's what I
acres
thought.
I was talking to you about.
Thank you. That's what I thought. I don't have any further questions.
Commissioner Carrier,
No questions at this time.
Commissioner Nadeem,
I don't have any questions right now. Thank you.
Commissioner Marsh.
Yeah, the trees, what are gonna happen to the trees?
The existing trees on site?
Yeah.
We're preserving as many of them that we can that are in good shape. You can see the ones over by the end of the truncated old barn structure, which is to the south of the building. We're saving the tulip tree in there and the maple there. We're also adding, as you can see, we're adding, what I have, we have adding 8 trees in here. We're keeping the big maple that's in the front here, as well as a dogwood out on the street, and then a bunch of maples on the street further to the north of the property, on the north property going towards the intersection with West District Road.
That's a pretty big intersection, very busy. Is this going to impede upon that particular intersection?
It shouldn't. We actually were further away from that intersection with our revised driveway than one of the entries that they have already. We've
Yeah, but
revised
you're
it.
right
Pardon?
You're right by a traffic light and a very busy traffic light. And is there going to be any difficulty in regard to interference with people making that left turn? I believe it's a left turn.
Well, we're well past 100 feet from that intersection. As I said, you can see in the aerial photo, there's two entry egress access and egress points on the driveway. We're actually coming more towards the lower one. There's clear sight distance. There's plenty of, every time I've been there, when school's laying out and everything, there's still plenty of time. You have great sight distance in both directions. There shouldn't be an impediment. Plus, this won't be a real high traffic area, especially during, they're going to have meetings at night. The staff's going to be 2 to 3 people during work time. And the programs they are going to have will be in the middle of the day. They include the school children. So, and we're hoping, as one of the long range plans of this is there's a sidewalk system, as you can see in the upper left of this aerial photograph, running along the south side of West District Road. And there, we have a future proposal of having a crosswalk put in there and then bringing a sidewalk down so we can actually facilitate walking between the elementary school and this facility. When they have an a class in environmental science or something, and they have a program here, maybe they're looking to ways to facilitate interactive programs with the, as part of the curriculum for the West District School and other schools in Farmington as well.
But
And
that's,
that way they can park up in the parking lot and walk down without generating more traffic in there.
but that's a future thing. I've been at that intersection many times. And it's a problem because it's not a straight intersection.
Well, we're not proposing a change to the geometry of the intersection. And again, we have clear sight distance and we are past the requisite driveway coming in near an intersection of 2 roads.
Commissioner Marsh, anything else?
Not at this time.
All right, Commissioner Brockelman.
Yes, I have, you explained it very well, but for the applicant, it was stated that there was a traffic light there. Can you just clarify?
No, there's stop signs there.
That's what I thought. Okay. Just wanted that clarified on the record. I have no questions.
Well, that was counted as one. So Commissioner Walsh.
No further questions.
Commissioner Walsh.
No question at this time.
Right. As chair, I go last. I just have a few. And I'll just preface that by saying I'm a big fan of the Farmington Land Trust. I hike a lot of your properties and enjoy their use. But I do have a couple of questions about the variance you're seeking here. So let me just have you go through that. What is the use of the property right now?
Okay, right now it's abandoned, but it was historically a residence. It is now, it's seeking a special permit now to become a charitable philanthropic institute, which is allowed as a special permitted use within a residential zone.
Yes, and the question is, have you applied for that special permit yet?
I did this first because without the variance, we'd have to rethink the whole layout of the parking area. And but we have applied for the special permit. The application is in, the drawings are in. Hopefully, at the next meeting, they will accept the application and then assign a public hearing, hopefully in November.
And I'll just explain the reason I'm asking that question is this is now an R40 lot, whether a person rebuilds or fixes up the house or knocks it down and builds a new house. If we grant the variance without the special permit, this is just a house with 12 plus parking spaces, including those that otherwise violate the zoning regulations. So how do we have not seen your permit application to the TP&Z. But would you have any objection if we make this application and request for variance contingent upon your seeking and obtaining a special permit from the town planning and
No,
zoning?
not at all, because that's, the only reason I'm in front of you is because that we're pursuing that special permitted use, and otherwise we wouldn't have the expanded parking hence
But we-
that has caused me to become in front of you.
Well, that you at least understand my concern.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Any variances we grant go with the land, and if
Go
we
with the land,
decide
yep.
tomorrow to sell it, right, then after we've approved it, then we are in the position of having granted a variance for a residence that doesn't have a specific need for such a variance. There's no hardship shown for just the residence, correct? Do you agree with
Understood.
that? Okay. And as far as what's not clear from I've looked at the plan, exactly how many parking spaces are you proposing? It looks like 12, or did I
is
count
12.
wrong? It is 12?
Yes,
Okay. And one of the questions was asked, you mentioned something about groups coming. Is there any plans to allow buses to come in here and use the parking lot for a turnaround?
no, because we don't have design geometry that would allow that.
And you said you have 2 or 3 employees. What is your anticipation? Are you planning on growing the staff, and so that there will be a permanent staff of more than 3 people?
No. But the reason there's the extra parking is for when they have the full, that the staff plus the full commission, the land trust
You have a-
committee members and guests and things. So
Okay.
we believe that 12 was an adequate number that could accommodate the worst case scenario for that.
All right. And do you plan on offering special events besides board meetings and regular staff at this location? So it's sort of guest speakers and the public is invited, and there may be some parking along the street or something along those lines.
Not that I know of. I don't know their whole program, but I know this is primarily their office. They may have a speaker come in and talk to the committee about things. I've heard that mentioned, to discuss myriad things, not only how to administer a trust, but also, land use, the latest trends in land use, or in the latest agrarian methodologies being implemented for low impact development or low impact agriculture, things like that. But they said it was specifically more towards their education and keep them progressive in their, in their use and their application of allowance for use on all their properties.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate what the Farmington Land Trust does, and I'll note that I've maintained a section of the Metacomet Trail for many years, even before I moved to Farmington. And I appreciate that some places along the trail, it goes through Farmington Land Trust property. So my last question is, do you anticipate also allowing these spots, particularly the gravel spots, to be open to the public to park so they can walk on the land, maybe go over and look at the West District? I forget if you call it a rock or a boulder, I can't remember.
I don't think that this was designed as a parking area for the West District property. If they had an event, I think, and I've been to an event there before, we had to park at the West District School and walk over.
Right.
So I think that's still the desired protocol that they'd like to keep in place. Because there's
Are they
plenty of
planning
public
on?
parking across the street without, and again, that led us to this whole discussion. Well, would it be great as this develops to bring the sidewalk down to the, which we've talked about doing in conjunction, we would probably have to pay for the sidewalk, but they would help us with the crosswalk and the curb ramps there at the crosswalk.
I don't have any other questions. Does anyone else on the commission have a follow-up question before I open it up?
No.
Okay. Does anyone from the public wish to speak in favor of the application? And Shannon, is there anybody even on this, anyone that we don't recognize listening in on this?
There are two. So if you do want to speak regarding this application, please raise your hand in the Zoom feature and you'll be allowed to address the commission.
And I will say either in favor or opposed at this point. It's not like there are so many people that we have to worry about that. So
No.
whoever wishes to speak should, if they do, should identify themselves, including their address for the record.
Okay. There's a Francie Brown. You've been unmuted. You can go ahead and address the commission, please.
Hi, my name is Timothy Smith. I'm calling from my wife Francie Brown's device, and I live at 126 Main Street in Farmington. And I was very, very interested in the topic tonight, and I fully support the Farmington Land Trust effort to secure this variance.
Thank you. So you're speaking in favor of the application.
Correct.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against? I see a hand raised. Shannon, can you?
I'm not seeing any hands.
Mr. Cowles, who's raising his hand. But he's raising his hand physically in the video as opposed to using the raised hand feature.
It's okay, Evan, I do it all the time.
Yeah, it's Evan Coles, 148 Main Street. I'm Vice President of the Land Trust, and I appreciate you all hearing our application for this variance. I'm speaking in favor of it. Obviously, we've been working very hard to not only make plans to renovate this building, but also to raise the money. And we've gotten a tremendous amount of support from the town of Farmington. We're just very pleased with how the project is going. And just an aside, we did try and think about doing a property line adjustment so that we wouldn't have to come in front of you. And our lawyer advised us not to touch the West District Nature Preserve, that it was given to us to keep as a nature preserve. And it would look a little funny if the Farmington Land Trust went and tried to develop on land trust land when our whole job is to protect land trust land. So we're trying to squeeze it onto this piece of property, which is, as you can see, an odd shaped piece of property. And I think Biff has done a terrific job in creating a very elegant site plan for this. And we hope you will see your way to approving variance. Thank you.
All right, so I'm just going to see if anyone has any questions. We'll just run through the Commissioner Callahan. Any questions of, is it pronounced Cowles? Is that how you
It's pronounced Coles.
Coles? Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Commissioner Carrier,
No questions.
Commissioner Nadeem,
No questions.
Commissioner Marsh.
Yeah, just one. It seems like I'm hearing a lot of ifs. Okay? Nobody has shown me that any of these things are going to happen or are past the planning stages. And I think that if we could get some sort of plans, some sort of definition about this, it would make more sense to bring that in front of us rather than the what ifs.
Well, if I could ask Mr. Schechinger or Mr. Coles to respond, I assume both of you agree that the condition for this variance would be that the special permit is approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission, which is more their purview than ours. Is that correct from both of you, gentlemen?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's absolutely right, yes.
Commissioner Marsh, do you have any follow-up question? I see you shaking your head, but I didn't hear an answer. We are recording.
No,
Okay. Commissioner Brockelman.
No questions. As somebody that drives by there a lot, I'm glad to see that somebody's looking to improve the property and done a good job of it.
Commissioner Walsh.
No questions.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or opposed? Shannon, I'll just have you tell me whether anyone else is either connected or raising either their digital or visual hand to speak.
Well, if somebody's called in on the attendee list that wishes to speak, you need to raise your hand using the feature in Zoom in order to address the commission. And then your microphone will be unmuted so you can address comments and questions to the commission. And I'm not seeing, there's nothing, no hands raised. There is nothing in the chat and nothing in the digital question and answer. So I believe we're all set, Mr. Chair.
All right, in that case, I will now close the hearing and we will now go immediately to discussion of the matter at hand. And I will entertain a motion from any member who has been appointed or is a regular member of the panel.
I will make a motion to approve the application of Mr. Is it Sickinger?
Scheckinger.
Mr. Scheckinger on
Thank you.
behalf of the Farmington Land Trust for 2 variances. One, to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 16 feet, and the side yard setback from 20 feet to 3 feet at 119 Copper Mine Road, subject to the condition that the variances will not become effective and will not run with the land absent approval of the special permit use.
Before we seek a second, I just want to clarify, to my knowledge, any approval we give does run with the land. The condition would be, however, that it would not be approved until certain things occurred. So I would ask you to not make reference to that.
Whatever the procedural mechanism, a condition of the variances being granted is the granting of the special use permit application.
Okay, by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Correct.
Okay. Is there a
I'll second.
second to that? I'm
I
sorry.
will- Johnny Carrier.
All right. Discussion. And I think that we should probably go in order, and I'll have Shannon, why don't you want to, well, you know what? I don't mind doing it. Commissioner Callan, that's your motion. You want to just comment?
No, I think at this point, I think the parking area and the access point is an existing access point. The parking area is appropriately placed, and it looks like with the addition of the shade trees along the driveway, the parking area will be to some extent obscured from view on Copper Mine Road. And it seems to be a well thought out and well-designed improvement on, an historic Farmington property. So I'm in favor of it.
All right. Commissioner Carrier.
Yes, in the fact that there's encumbrances on the actual land trust properties surrounding this, I feel like it meets the hardship criteria.
Commissioner Nadeem.
I'm supportive of this as it's proposed. This is right in my neighborhood, and I think this is a great project and organization.
Commissioner Marsh.
No comment.
Okay. Commissioner Brockelman.
I agree with what Commissioner Nadeem said. I think it's a great thought out plan. And again, as I said before, as somebody that drives by there, I'm glad to see that it's going to be a nice, good improvement on this piece of property.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Commissioner Walsh, you're not appointed to this so I'm sorry you can't comment right now, but I'll just say, as I said before, I'm a big fan of the land trust. Preserving land in Farmington is one of the things that makes this town beautiful and a really desirable place to live. And my only concern had been that if it was not submitted and not approved for this particular use, it could have been resold and developed as a house with a 12 car parking lot, and therefore, could have been turned into something that would not fit within that particular neighborhood or the land trust property. If there's any issues with regard to traffic that might arise, that's something that the planning and zoning could address because of the neighborhood to the school, but that's not something we have to worry about. So I also want to say that I'm in favor of this. I believe it meets the definition of a hardship. I also agree with the remarks by, I believe it was Mr. Cole, that if you try to move, if land is deeded to a nonprofit to be in perpetuity open space, you start messing with the property lines, you may be in violation of your trust of why the property was given to you in the first place. So I will also say that I support this. So I'm going to ask Shannon if you would call the roll, please.
Certainly. Commissioner Callahan,
Aye.
Commissioner Carrier,
Aye.
Commissioner Nadeem,
Aye.
Commissioner Brockelman,
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh,
I guess I,
and Chair Schoenhorn.
Aye.
Thank you.
So I assume you know the procedure. I know Mr. Scheckinger has appeared in front of us before, so you got to wait for the approval by the department, and then I guess you are moving on to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Good luck to you, sir, and good luck to you, Mr. Coles.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thanks for hearing us. Have a good evening, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you.
And my knowledge, there is no business, Shannon, is that correct?
There is no other business this evening.
All right, so I assume everyone has had a chance to review the minutes of the last meeting, and I will entertain a motion with regard to the minutes.
Motion to approve. Johnny
Second.
Carson.
All right, so who seconded that? I missed it.
Brockelman.
Okay. All right, I don't think we need to do unless somebody has a comment, I don't think we have to do a roll call for that. Can we just have all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None opposed, so the minutes are approved. And I'll entertain it. Before we adjourn, I'm just going to ask Shannon, is there anything in the pipeline yet for November?
No, Sandy's indicating no. They all normally come into Sandy for initial screening, and she's indicating no, nothing yet.
Okay, all right. Well, in
It's
that
early
event, everyone, maybe I'll just wish you all a happy Thanksgiving and a happy election day for some of us. So in any event, all
amen.
right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Have a good weekend, have a good week. Take care.
Have a good
everyone.
evening, everyone. Thank you.